Well, 3, 2, 1. Hello. Welcome to the blockchain. 2021 edition.
Yep, new year, new me.
Yeah. So the virus is gone. You know, nothing's because 2021 happened. All the bad stuff from last year basically doesn't exist anymore. Of course.
Oh, finally. I no longer have to wear these stupid fucking masks. I'll probably still wear a mask in public, honestly. Before recording, I was out at a park, and I wore, not just a mask, but also a neck gaiter to keep my face warm, because it's pretty fucking cold here.
Yeah.
And I started sweating, so it's like, I'm warm.
I mean, I think you look good in masks and that Watch Dogs outfit.
I'm not going out wearing a trench coat. But I do look suspicious.
Yeah, how do you do it? Like, there's certain clothes that you just can't wear without raising a few eyebrows just because of their connotation, I guess. Well, not that you can't wear it, but, you got to be the right kind of person, I guess.
I guess just neck gates, concealing the bottom half of your face. That's suspicious, though, with the pandemic. Yeah, that's understandable to wear a mask.
Yeah.
But also, I'm seeing a lot of people not wear masks, those fucking idiots. Especially with this new British variation. Goddamn Britain.
Yeah. I mean, man, I'm not the most fashionable person, but I definitely have a sense of taste, I guess. Walking down the streets of New York wearing your bright neon green Ahigo hoodie.
God. I wear mostly black and dull colors. Actually, I'm going to be picking up some new clothes sometime soon, be it next week or definitely after my birthday, which is on the 7th, by the way. I'll be turning 19. I'll be legally able to drink alcohol and have rights.
I'll be turning 19 soon as well.
Yeah, in Canada, you're not an official adult until you're 19. So
Really?
Turning 18, that's no big deal. It's there's some 19-year-olds in high school sometimes.
Damn.
That's either under circumstances because of repeating a grade, or they're born in January like me.
Damn. But yeah, moving forward, do you have any crazy 2021 plans you want to share? Maybe projects?
I've definitely elaborated on my intentions to move out of the city and just live life, really. This podcast is not a top priority. I might just have a huge gap of episodes without me, which we've discussed off session.
Well, of course. I mean, we were doing this for fun, It's not like it's not like our monetary. We're not getting money from this at all or anything.
We've definitely joked and discussed about merchandise or something. This podcast is not an occupation, so I'll be for the next few weeks. I'll be doing an official job search, maybe a dollar store down the street. I don't know. We'll see. And then pack my things, move out. Not all at once, of course. It's over the next few weeks, because I've got some furniture. Got some furniture to put into storage. Some new clothes to buy and pack my clothes now that I'm not going to be wearing.
Mm-hmm.
So just how would I put it? Work clothes and then home clothes. That's all I'm going to keep. Anything that's that I wear for a fashion statement, like a plaid or flannel, however you'd put it. I won't wear that. Just whatever is work standard.
Yeah. I mean, that's respectable.
Just black clothes, probably.
Yeah.
I've got fashion. I've got a fashion taste, but it's not something I'm going to be wearing as much as I did last year.
Yeah, I don't really have much of a varied fashion sense. Well, because back in high school, I would wear the exact same jeans, jacket, and shoes every day, but just change the shirt.
Oh, okay, there are sirens outside. I'm sorry. I don't know if my mic can pick it up
It's the
anymore.
fashion police.
They're coming to arrest you. Yeah, you've definitely had a better fashion in like your high school years than I did in like early adolescence, because all I wore were sweatpants and whatever shirt that could fit me, regardless of any holes. Like now
Yeah,
I've got like standards, a good variety, a few suit vests, which I sometimes wore just casually in the house.
I
Now
mean,
it's just
it
like
works.
black shirt. I'm actually wearing a knitted sweater over one of those button-up shirts, which is comfortable, especially in this cold weather. It gets cold here in Canada, but I live in the warmest part, so it gets particularly cold first quarter of the year.
Yeah, it's been snowing for the first time down here in the States, at least where I am.
In the sticks.
Yeah, actually, kind of funny story. Last night, well, it snowed a couple days ago, pretty heavy, and I spent a whole day shoveling the driveway. I only got about half of it done, plus some of the back and sidewalk and stuff. So I was finishing it up yesterday, but it was all like piled up and icy. So it was tough. And like while I was just going at it at night, some dude in his truck and like a snow plower on it, just like pulled into the driveway kind of, and it was like, "Hey, let me give you a hand." And he was this like big old fat guy, and he's got this like cigar, like he was smoking like a legit cigar. And he was like, "I was fucking snow. Let me help you out here." And he did. He cleared out the driveway with his snowplow.
That's a wholesome
On his
story.
truck.
It never snows here. One thing I
Yeah.
look forward to going to Alberta is the snow. It probably won't be
Is
snowing by the time I'm there, but like it's just like when it's winter and actually seeing snow.
is that a thing with like the city or just being near water?
Just no, just my particular location. You see, BC like its foundations is a rainforest, so it rains more so than it
Oh yeah.
snows. I think
You
the
mentioned
longest it's ever rained was like over like 150 days. That's half the year of rain.
really
I
like
recall
straight.
back in yeah, not straight, just like
Okay, but
collectively.
yeah,
I remember for an entire month it rained. It was February in 2008, I think, or 2007, a long time ago.
man, was that enjoyable at all, or?
God no.
I think it'd be cooler for someone like me who that doesn't happen to, But yeah, I think the 50th day in, you'd probably be like,
Yeah, I'm like, God, I'm tired of this. And here's the thing, I hate wearing jackets, despite
really?
having a bunch of jackets now. It's
I
just
can't
like at
not
that
wear
time,
jackets.
rain jackets in particular, are like not comfortable.
Let me tell you, jackets are like a second skin to me. I can't go out without some form of jacket.
Yeah, sometimes I wear a hoodie and a jacket
Wow.
just uh, just to wear the hood because I don't like hats, despite having a few hats now. Like that, just normal caps or rain hats are they don't fit me because I have such a large head.
Damn.
Uh, with some exceptions, like we call them toques, but you Americans call them beanies. I mean, I call them beanies because Vancouver is the most American part of Canada.
You've been Americanized.
We're basically Seattle too.
What? Yeah, I remember. I never really knew many Canadians before you guys, and there were too many to handle.
I've met like a few Canadians over the years on the internet. I've met one in person like 3 years ago. That was an interesting experience to say the least.
Damn.
She's a good friend. I wish I'd met her more over the years because we only met like 5 times, and last time was like in August.
I mean, yeah. I guess once you settle down, it might be easier to plan that again.
Yeah, I definitely like when I do move out to Alberta. I'll definitely plan to like visit BC once in a while to visit family and like I don't know, just to see what changed because
Yeah.
the city's constantly in renovation. Like I saw a bunch of streets closed because they're getting paved again or buildings getting renovation. It's like the city will never settle down on a design. It'll always change. I remember a few years back, we've got some highways that lead to downtown. I don't fucking know why. I remember hearing somewhere that those very highways are going to get demolished sometime soon.
Damn.
Maybe by the time I visit BC again, they'll be gone.
Yeah.
Actually, those are the same highways that Deadpool was shot on. If you can remember that highway scene,
Wow.
or at least one of
Rest in
them.
peace, Deadpool. He was shot.
The damn
But yeah.
pool's no more. God,
I don't
that
remember.
joke is
Wasn't it a
terrible.
thing where like Deadpool's Canadian?
Yeah, he is. He's Canadian in the lore, and so is Wolverine. The only Canadian
Representation.
superheroes.
Yeah.
Can you legit think of any other superhero that's Canadian? It's like those are the only two, and they're more
Yeah.
anti-heroes than Canadian. Not Canadian heroes. What the fuck am I saying? I'm stumbling on words. I'm sorry.
They're more anti-hero than Canadian. Yeah. Well, they're both white. Can't believe it.
Where's our representation, Marvel?
I wanted to ask that on the topic of you moving out and stuff. You think you going for like a roommate or on your
Oh no,
own?
I'll live on my own because I can't handle other people. Like
Yeah.
I think I'll be off the grid, off the internet for like a good few weeks because I'll still be settling down. And I might stay at a shelter for like the first few days just so like I have a place to sleep. And when I do settle down into a place, I'll get internet later because I've still got to settle down, bring my stuff here there. Just live life, get a job, pay the bills. Just do responsible adult shit by the time I'm there, and then internet will come last. Not
Yeah.
exactly the very last. It's just like not a top priority.
Yeah, I'm very apprehensive to kind of similarly be more of an adult, I guess. Like, oh, get a job and stuff full time, which is gonna be an adjustment because I'm used to having no responsibilities.
And yet here we are.
Yeah, look at that.
I'm
So
excited
yeah,
for responsibilities personally. It's like
me as
it's
well.
not something that I fear.
Well, it's less. I wouldn't say I fear it. It's just more apprehensive because I mean it's new. But I ultimately think that getting a job will be very healthy for me. Not only will I get paid, but hopefully it'll help me build a sense of work ethic and responsibility. Having to manage that,
Yes.
and like it gets mind-numbingly kind of grating sometimes to just float in space. Not having much of a
Definitely.
reason. So it'll be nice to have a purpose to do something.
Live to
Just
serve.
for money. Live to serve. Become a machine.
I definitely recommend investing in the stock market, which I've told you many times off the podcast.
And I still don't understand it. And I'm just getting into Bitcoin too. Whenever we literally called the blockchain. I'm sure I can find a good reference.
Yeah, like stock market's not that hard to swallow. Actually, here's an interesting fact about like the stock. Like an interesting little story I heard somewhere is that some researchers got a monkey to choose 5 different stock markets and then compared it to an average stockbroker, which is like someone that's like always investing, and the monkey made more money.
Wow. Well, what did the monkey do with
It
that
goes to
money?
show that I don't know. It was like
Bought
kind of an
bananas.
example that you shouldn't like obsess over the stock market. Just like go passive, and then over time you'll succeed and get more of that dough.
Yeah, I've seen that everywhere. Definitely of anything involving the stock market. All the advice is don't like basically gamble. Obsess over it. Just passively. I don't remember which YouTuber it was, maybe Justin Wang or someone similar, but it was a story of like a subreddit that basically treated the stock market like a casino. Or, like they would just put so much money into one thing and like either get crazy benefits and like lose everything.
God, Reddit people are strange. They're like Batman level of obsessive.
Yeah,
strange. It's strange social media. Speaking of social media, I'm gonna remain off Twitter for a good minute on like both accounts. I might just use Instagram just to like catch up on some artists that I follow on Twitter, but like they mainly post on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that like Twitter is so it gives like tunnel vision. It's like you can't see what's going on outside.
Yeah, like, I get that. It's very involved in its own community.
It's like more people like my art on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like my format now. The canvas that I draw on, it's like a perfect square, which is like Instagram only allows for like squared off images. They don't have like horizontal or vertical. It has to be a square. So like that's how I've been drawing these last few weeks. Anyways, so like might as well just import those drawings into my phone and upload to Instagram. Which we're recording this on New Year's Day, of course, and I uploaded a piece this morning.
Okay.
I guess made my final post. I have some scheduled posts later.
Send me the link. I'll put it in the description.
Probably not. I don't want like my Instagram to get too like associated with brands.
That's fair
enough.
Like
Twitter's more a brand thing, while Instagram's kind of personalized. I guess because it's also connected to Facebook.
Yeah.
Which I might use Facebook just for family purposes. I don't know. It's like Twitter artist community, all this like things we've been obsessing over for like a little over 6 months now. It's like not desirable for me.
Yeah, I mean it was worse at first. But, after a while, I mean I just kind of see it as a hobby. For me at least. That whole follower count. It's like, oh cool, it's bigger, it's a bigger number. I mean, yeah, I just draw it and put it online somewhere. What I really should do though is, like you said, just kind of tunnel vision. I want to branch out, post my art other places. Newgrounds, maybe build a portfolio actually. Expand my styles and skills.
One thing I'm definitely thinking of doing is posting on my DeviantArt, which is under a different name, and just using DeviantArt just to, I guess, archive my ideas and expand the lore a bit publicly, because I don't want to like post a thread on Twitter of like what this character's purpose, because I'm still telling stories. I've got like a good number of scripts that's like a work in progress that I sometimes get into. Like just write for like an hour or two in my own time, of course, and it's all on my laptop, which, speaking of, I'm going to be using more often than I would my main PC, which I'm going to leave with a friend that I can trust before I leave, so they could pack and ship my PC parts to when I do get to Edmonton, and I'll know it won't come damaged unless UPS fucks it up like they always do.
Well, hopefully not.
Oh yeah, like if one of these parts are broken, I'm gonna have to spend like upwards of thousands of dollars just to replace it.
Yeah. The future is uncertain for them, at least for me. But I'm optimistic that I won't die.
Unless there's a pipe bomb in your mailbox.
Yeah. Oh, it finally came. I ordered
I,
it. I ordered that thing
I've
like a month
definitely,
ago.
I've definitely got like a set in stone path and plans. Like, not exact plans. It's more like vague ideas that's going to occur. Like,
An
summer's
outline.
definitely going to be the time that I invest in stock, and like the fall, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe help the homeless or something. I've definitely got to do some more community stuff, local community stuff. And again, internet's not top priority. I might stream actually. I'm thinking of
Hmm.
streaming just a game, game or two. Maybe draw. I
Might
don't
tune
know.
in.
It's like those are things that I want to do in my own time. But yeah, my plans for this year are set in stone and are about to get executed these next few days because I've got clothes I'm going to throw out, get some new ones, furniture and storage, so on and so forth. Just live in a new routine.
Yeah.
Just live like a normal person because these last few years have been like exclusively online. Like the few I could count how many times I've gone out and done something with at least 7 of my fingers. And that's in the last like 4 or so years.
Yeah, for me, I didn't really have many friends to go out and do stuff with in high school and all until the end, like the later bits. Um, which and then I was gonna do way more, and then the virus hit, and you know, that was tough. You know, I also believe that getting a job will help with my, I don't know, not getting lost in the internet so much.
Yeah, like because of lockdown and the fact that we can't go out and socialize, like trying to do that online is like talking to a brick wall. I guess like
It depends.
this summer was fine for me because like restrictions weren't so anal. I did talk with some friends in like August and meet some like very briefly actually. But it's like this is the most that I'm ever going to talk with these people. So I might as well just talk about things that I would likely never talk about on this podcast. It's just like personal plans because like they knew I wanted to get to Edmonton for all the how like what's the word,
I don't
like
know.
stress, all the
Yeah.
stress, like not just like the last year or two, but like collectively because I've been thinking a lot of my early childhood and read up on some psychology, and I've definitely got anxiety, probably some other mental issues that I'm not aware of because I'm no professional.
I mean, yeah. Mental health is difficult because
It's a very touchy subject. It's like walking
case
on
by case,
eggshells.
incredibly.
Of course,
Which
like no two people with anxiety are the same. At
yeah,
least like just like
yeah,
no two people are the same really,
of
unless they're
course.
twins and or clones or whatever.
Yeah, I know personally with the pandemic and all that happened lockdown, I was lucky to have my own internet friends that I grew a lot closer to and had a lot of fun with, Like that was good for me, definitely. I'm grateful for that. Uh ultimately had helped me get a girlfriend, so there's that. And to each their own, of course. I know. I guess I was just lucky.
Yeah, I guess like for me, I'm like this year before leaving, I'm definitely gonna reach out to some new people. I've got a friend that'll network me, and I don't know what's gonna happen. Like this is also gonna be another reason for my inactivity through social media and particular Discord servers. There just might be new ones because I've met a lot of people online over the years. There's like a million stories I could tell, but I choose not to because it's been too long or like professional courtesy.
Yeah. I don't remember if it was on or off the cast, I don't think, but since you're going to be having a hiatus, I may continue the podcast just without a second host, probably record myself all alone. No one.
I think you could do well with just just guests.
Yeah. God,
I've got conflicting schedules and plans, and Jesus, you need to. You have water. I think you need something else. You have like. Oh my god!
I'm alive.
We're dying on the podcast.
Live on the podcast.
I can't believe we're capturing this moment. You have to edit this from beyond the grave.
Damn. Even then, I can't escape. But yeah, big reveal. I can't breathe. Anyways, what we're talking about. But yeah, it'll be take as much time as you need, of course. You don't even have an obligation to come back as a host. Real life comes before the internet. At least health wise, definitely. So this is potentially your last episode as a host. Maybe not. Maybe so. Only the future can tell.
Only time. Yeah, only time will say whether or not. I'm definitely not going to do podcasts. Perhaps. I don't know. I might do my own thing. Cause I've teased that before. I'm going to start my own podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And VCs. And I've sort of tested the waters a bit. And just record myself for 30 minutes, which felt like an hour, honestly. So I've definitely got things that I could talk about here, but I won't because it's not in interest with how our brand is right now with the whole Twitter art.
We're kind of moving away from that to just more general internet personalities. But the Twitter artist is the one community I'm actually a part of, so it's just kind of easiest to get a hold of. So we'll see. I'd like to continue the podcast, on my own, I suppose. And with the help of other people. That was an idea we had before, actually, of just getting. We don't have to get a new person every time. Hey, bring Frank back in. Hey, bring Seb back in.
Bring in Tuna, because you've discussed that off the podcast once in a while.
Yeah.
But of course, conflicting schedules.
Yeah, whatever. Easy enough.
I guess because all of our just about all of our guests, at least the first 15 are in our banner. Maybe they could be more reoccurring.
Yeah.
If they're down to it, of course.
We'll see. Well, ultimately, now that's my decision.
This podcast was always just your thing. I was the editor for the first 18 episodes?
Yeah. I mean, I really appreciate all the help you've given throughout these 23 episode run. Couldn't have done it without you. And now I'm capable enough to take it and run.
Even at the cost of my own sleep schedule. God, there were so many sleepless nights and last minute renders and uploads.
Yeah.
And how many episodes did we have to did I have to re-edit 2 or 3?
I don't know.
And that's that doesn't sound bad, but when you realize the process of editing a podcast, that's hell.
Mostly
I have to go through
which is,
it's what 2 or 3 hours just rendering on its own, and another hour uploading because it's a big file and there's a lot to process, especially since we put visuals in this audio-based platform.
Yeah.
God, if this podcast ever gets on Spotify or other podcast networks, it's gonna be fucking hell.
Oh damn. Going forward, my only concern, I suppose, is preservation, because I know I don't have enough space on my own computer to probably keep all these together. I might just like upload them on a backup channel, which would also take forever. I don't know. I don't think the blockchain podcast YouTube account's going to get deleted anytime soon, though. So
just prepare for worst case scenario if YouTube shits its pants.
Yeah.
I guess. I've kept like the first like all our previous sessions, at least when we recorded.
Yeah.
Like the first 18. I still want your end of the audio for it, like 19 through 20, just so I could at least have the first 20 episodes archived in my PC, because I've got a lot of storage.
Yeah, that's the thing. And, you know, again, with me getting a job and thus money, I can also upgrade my computer, which you've made fun of me for on a multitude of occasions.
Yep, and it's still gonna happen. No, probably not. Like with my inactivity, but like it's kind of surprising considering, like, just about all of my friends have, like all of my personal friends have, not necessarily extremely powerful, can run like Minecraft and Cyberpunk at the same time. It's just like above average powerful computers, and it's shocking at the fact that like just about everyone we know are gamers in some way, and all running on the bare minimum specs. It's like, I kind of expected more from all of you, I'm not going to lie.
Well, this is the very first computer I've ever owned. I didn't know what a DisplayPort was until a couple of days ago. All right, I'm getting there. Some days down the line, you'll see me. I'm going to have 36 monitors and
man, I still can't believe like
gigabytes of RAM.
I still can't believe that like Tuna's doing his like game development or whatever. I don't know much detail about that, but like I'm shocked at the fact that he has 8 gigabytes of RAM. Like just like all of these people, like I kind of expect a few to like not have extremely powerful computers because, you know, laptops.
Yeah.
Or like not necessarily poverty, but like not much income, I guess I'll put it. It's like, that's kind of understandable. Like, I don't necessarily expect everyone to have extremely powerful gaming PCs. Just like maybe above average than your
eventually
average computer user.
Soon I
remember
be above average in everything.
I remember back in the day, like, everyone had one computer in their household. Like, I had just one computer growing up, and I just watched Flash games.
We had one computer, but it was, like, really old, and we didn't even have internet, so we just used it to play MS Paint and Solitaire.
Those were the days, the highlights.
Yeah.
Actually, it was like, growing up, it was my cousin that had, like, multiple monitors, powerful gaming PC, and I barely got a glimpse at that because he was always in his room. You know, I respect the man. He's doing his own game development.
Oh, cool. Man, I remember I used to really want to do game development stuff, and then I realized how insanely difficult it is, and I was like, you know what, I'll just draw. I still want to someday, but it's a culmination of a lot of skills.
I guess, like, since dropping out and not necessarily having the biggest social life, like, at least in person, because I've talked to hundreds of people online, but, like, in my own time, I've learned a bunch of things, like, including game development. I tried doing Unreal Engine, like, what was it, 2 years ago? A good while ago, it was.
I've messed around in Unreal, a couple of years back.
So I've dipped my toes in, like, a lot of, like, platforms, like music, video editing, a bit audio editing, but I'm not a professional, of course. It's like expanding on what I'm good at, I guess. And I guess, like, just art's always been a hobby. I still don't intend on it being an occupation. I'll never do commissions. And yeah. I've had a good number of people like offer money for me to work on a graphic. I'm just like, no, I don't have a PayPal or a bank. Now I do, and I still won't do it for money.
I want to do commissions sometime. Not like as, like, oh yes, this will stabilize me for life. But just, side gig.
Passive.
Yeah.
If you want a pizza, just do a quick commission.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like
yeah.
I've sort of found my art style that I'm sticking to. And I've elaborated this a lot in previous episodes of the sort of like Bruce Timm-esque, simple yet dynamic art style. It's like I'm satisfied with how I'm drawing now, and I'm not gonna like improve because I know I can. I know I could do like really good and detailed art, which I have done and promptly deleted because it's like, yeah, I got my exact vision done. I can't say I'm satisfied really. It's
Yeah.
just I guess I like my Twitter banner now. It's a bunch of like characters, other characters, sort of visualizing stories. Like, here's an interesting fact about comic books in like the 50s, 60s is that they were illustrated first and then the story came, the writing.
Really?
Yeah, back in like back when like comic books were profitable.
Yeah.
I hate it. That joke's terrible. It's like comic books aren't dying. It's just Marvel and DC are dying.
Oh, when I talk about comic books, I know just the guy to bring in here. No.
Yeah. I'm like, I know a good number of things about comic books. It's just that I don't want to talk about it. It's like everything that's been said has been said, and now it's just basically an echo chamber. I follow a couple comic book people on, not necessarily comic book artists, but like people that are big in the comic book YouTuber community. I follow Godzilla Mendoza, High Top Films, people that just talk about like other media and comics, particularly Marvel and DC. And there are a lot of discussions that's the exact same thing. Like, just Spider-Man in general. Just like search up Spider-Man alone, and you will get, and like compare the conversations from now to 3 years from now, and it's just a giant echo chamber. And I should know because I've been following these people for years, and like have talked to some of them, and it's like the fandom's having the exact same discussion, but they themselves aren't having the discussion. It's just like engaging, kind of like saying what's been said and done.
Yeah. I don't know, that happens a lot, I guess. I've seen with stuff where like new content doesn't work out or just doesn't come out at all. It's kind of
I guess to bring up my more comic book fan side, it's that here's the thing about Marvel is that they're referred to as the House of Ideas, yet I am seeing a lot of recycled ideas. Like,
well, that's exactly. Oh, then
like,
I mean, they're not.
Here's
wrong,
the thing: when Into the Spider-Verse was getting released,
they're just the house of the exact same ideas.
No, that's Into the Spider-Verse was an adaptation. Marvel put out more comic books that was basically Spider-Verse again, but it's
really.
Yeah, like Spider-Man, Miles, all those like alternative versions of Spider-Man are fighting, and like I think it's either the same villain. I don't know. I like didn't get too deep into that. It's like, yeah, Marvel, you're doing the exact same thing again because like, they did Spider-Verse 2015 in the comics. I mean, oh, and like another example specifically for Marvel is when Captain America Civil War came out, Marvel released Civil War 2. like, and everyone is saying this is not necessary, but the quality's fine, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I watch videos about comic books. I don't necessarily read the comics themselves. Unless, like, it's like smaller story or two, but like those are few and far between.
I used to be more into Marvel and stuff, but I don't know, very passively. They're just kind of like, oh, Spider-Man, it's cool powers.
Yeah, there's a weird thing about me is that I'm like big on movies, but I have like up until like 3 years ago, I've not watched a single Marvel Studios movie. Like until like Infinity War was about to release, and I'm like, I might as well just binge watch all their movies because I've got like fuck all to do.
What did you think of them?
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, like the first like phase was pretty good. Second phase, it was fine, and like the like third phase of Marvel up until Endgame, it's like kind of mixed. It's like ev- everyone says Marvel's kind of like Marvel movies are kind of the same thing. It's like it's like the same themes, same vibes, same
tone.
visuals. It's like it's not particularly interesting like the latter half of the movies. Though with these like recent shows that are releasing on Disney Plus, things might get a little more interesting.
That's what I'm hoping for too, especially with Star Wars, which has sucked for a long time now. Mandalorian's been, at least in my opinion, very, very good, and or at the very least, it's been bringing positive attention back to the series.
I've heard nothing but negative things about Star Wars, except for like, with the only exception being the original trilogy.
That's fair. Yeah,
I'd watched the prequel trilogy recently. It's like, yeah, it's all right.
yeah, we're watching through the
still,
prequel trilogy right now. Actually, me and Frank and Coda.
Yeah, it's like it's fine. It's not like as good as the original trilogy, but like it's all right, in my opinion. So here's a weird thing about Star Wars in particular. At least the first few films is like the CGI enhancements are kind of whack.
Yeah,
You got like
yeah.
you got effects that are like impressive for the time and that were like done in the 70s and 80s, and then you get like a CGI monster that like in today's standards is not that great. Like they look like a PS4 graphics
Actually,
level of graphics.
while watching A New Hope with Frank and Coda and all, we were distracted for like 20 minutes, maybe 30, on just this one particular scene, the Han versus Greedo scene. Again, spoilers for A New Hope, I guess, like for one scene. But where
I'm sure everyone's seen Star Wars by this point.
Yeah, and the scene where like Greedo or Han shoots Greedo, and we went on about how George Lucas specifically added in the Disney Plus version, before Greedo shoots at Han, he says McClunky. McClunky sounds like that, and like that was a brand new addition in the Disney Plus version. That scene has been remastered and redone like 17 different times.
God, it's weird. It's like I want to know if there's a legal way to watch like the original films in their like unedited form. I
That
guess
would be cool.
And like, cause you can't legally watch the original trilogy without, again, legal troubles for like piracy maybe, but there's no way to watch its films in its original form.
I also want to mention again about this exact scene, just something. One last thing, something I didn't recognize until Frank pointed it out to me, where since it's been reworked so much, it's just kind of fucked. And how Han, like they realized that after some redos that like Greedo's new hand position is aiming too close to Han's head, so they made Han like in a split half a second when the shot is fired, he like breaks his neck and like moves it to the side so the bolt doesn't hit him square in the face.
I
And it looks
hearing about
so
that.
unnatural. It's so unnatural. and then we realized in one scene that Harrison Ford is like a huge Adam's apple, and we were saying he actually did break his neck in that scene.
Oh god, Star Wars is a weird series to me.
It's
Like
so weird.
my older cousin was mainly into it. I was like, I watched the original trilogy with him like fucking years ago, and kind of with the Clone Wars show. I don't remember that much about it because again I was like 7.
Yeah.
You know, I get the gist of Star Wars, and I watched like 3 episodes of Mandalorian, and to say like I'm not too intrigued, but I do like how the show is like for a TV show. It is shot incredibly well.
Yeah, the
Performance
technology they've
is
used to make it. Have you've seen stuff like that, right? Like the sort of room, like VR room, I guess, or not like a VR room, but it's like the curved screen all
yeah.
around
I
the
heard I heard
actors.
about I heard about that. Here's the thing. I'm not like again. I'm not too deep into Star Wars, but I know a lot about like behind the scenes and like the technology that went into the space fights alone was like way ahead of its time. And like what's and how the current movies are shot with that
Yeah,
giant curved screen. It's like that's all very impressive. I'm not going to lie. Like I can't think of many scenarios where it's used now except for space adventures, I suppose. Like I guess Marvel will use them.
yeah. I mean, Star Wars has always been more popular than uh good. I'd say not that it has no
It,
value, but you know,
I'll
yeah,
probably eventually watch the sequel trilogy
I still
though.
love it.
I can't say when.
You haven't watched them yet?
No, just rewatch the first trilogy and then watch the prequel trilogy for the first time, which I've got to say it's very goofy.
Yeah, we were talking about that too. How it's like at least the very first one is super, wacky, goofy, slapstick. Very. Well, that's probably why it's known as one of the worst ones.
I could think of like I can't say that like I can rewrite the movie and make a better version, but I could think of alternative ways it like
Yeah.
as a story could have been told a little better. When
Yeah,
Darth
yeah.
Vader becomes Darth Vader, it was very goofy. I'm sure we've all seen that
uh,
clip of him going, "No!"
no. Yeah, it's. I do think that Episode 3 was the best of the prequels, though, if not for like the Mustafar fight, which was good. But
Yeah, I
one of
thoroughly enjoyed the third one more
yeah.
so than the first two in the prequel trilogy.
While watching the first movie of the prequels, we had this running gag that Jar Jar Binks was banished from his civilization because he was a massive sexual predator, which originally
Oh, Jar
stemmed
Jar
from
Binks.
because Coda has never ever watched anything Star Wars before, and they told us that their only exposure to Jar Jar Binks was through a Jar Jar Binks sexually assaults you at a college party ASMR.
Oh my fucking
And that
god.
and that's where that started. And when we kept doing the impressions of the characters, and since Anakin's kind of like a Jesus figure, where Qui-Gon was to his mother, he was like, "Who's the father?" And like there was no father. I'm like, I don't know, and then we were thinking Qui-Gon is like, "Do you recognize that Gungan at all? We're at a party." It was stupid, but it
uh,
was fun.
I'm sure we've all heard this before somewhere, but Michael Jackson wanted to be Jar Jar Binks in prosthetics. I want to live in that universe where that happened.
That's it's like the voice or the model, I guess.
Where Michael Jackson was Jar Jar Binks in prosthetics.
uh Man, that'd be
That's CGI though. In just about all those movies are kind of whack. They look like PS4 games,
Star
like
Wars is
PS4
very
level
cheesy.
graphics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm
Star
I'm
Wars
glad
has
that
always been wood.
I watched. I'm glad that I watched them in my own time. So like I still need to get into some movies that like are big and popular. I still like up until like a few weeks ago, I've not watched a single Quentin Tarantino movie, though I heard a lot of positive shit about
Really.
it. His films, like yeah, and I watched Pulp Fiction this morning, and it's pretty
Oh,
fucking
good.
good.
Hey, I still gotta watch a lot of those classics. I know during Halloween, it was great. You were streaming some classic horror movies. It was my first time watching all of them, and it was good.
Yeah. Now you got Patrick Bateman as your banner.
Yeah,
Your
American
Patrick
Psycho
Bateman
is still my
stan.
favorite one. Still there.
Yeah, it was also like some of them were my first exposure. Not exposure, like first time viewing. Like Candyman was fucking beautiful.
Candyman is great.
God, like some of those films are very impressive and ahead of their time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both fucking dying.
Yeah. I want to ask though, if you said you're gonna watch the sequels, for Star Wars eventually, the sequel trilogy. What are your expectations going in?
Oh, I expect them to be in space, shoot lasers, lightsabers, the Force or whatever.
Yeah.
I honestly, that's all I expect.
You're gonna come back telling me it's your absolute favorite part of Star Wars. Like, wow, those were actually really good, and I'm gonna be very sad.
I don't know, man. It's like, here's the thing: if I compiled a list of my favorite movies, like a top 10, I'm sorry to say, but Star Wars won't be on there.
Oh, I totally understand. It's not even on mine.
It's like, I like the movies, I just don't love them.
Star Wars has always been better in like episodic. Like the Clone Wars show was good. The 2003 show was good. Basically because Gennady Tartakovsky and was on the 2003 one, and Dave Filoni, I believe, was the name of the guy that's been working on Mandalorian and the original Clone Wars show. So
yeah, when you have like such high concepts as Star Wars does, it's like, yeah, they'll definitely work better on TV than movies. That's like the same with superhero shows, and why Batman the animated series or like Superman, Spider-Man, all those heroes, like a lot of people would rank their shows as better than the movies. It's like in a movie you got on like between 1.5 to 2 hours of storytelling. And it was very bold of Marvel to like release like a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
Like, I guess also with like Justice League coming to HBO Max pretty soon, that's going to be fucking... I don't expect those movies to be a masterpiece, but I expect them to be something else, because I've never heard of like a film that'll be not only released in full, but also in 4 chunks. And it's like the same movie collectively. It's like Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to be the most insane superhero movie this year.
I can't wait to see how everyone reacts to it, because I'm not as involved in like the movie community, I guess, as I used to be, but I still like keeping up sometimes. Like you mentioned, High Top Films and the like, those kinds of guys. Schiffriller's Productions.
Yeah, Brown Table, those YouTubers. I respect those YouTubers. I remember being in a VC in Godzilla Mendoza server, and that was a pleasant conversation. Though, like, this was back under my old alias, and it like his community only knows me by that name. And
damn,
I guess like
we can't get him on the podcast.
No, well, he had his own podcast for a while, which was... Here's a funny story about that podcast. I hate the fact that I'm talking about another podcast on this podcast. It's that his podcast name was Subject to Change, and like that was also apparently a name, something involving gay porn, and it was like just him and his very masculine Chad friend who's got a beard and is very hairy.
Wow.
It was just 2 men talking.
Not unlike this podcast.
No, we're just Chads. I don't know.
Yeah. We're both big, masculine, hairy men.
Our only difference is we sometimes have people with us.
Yeah. Who are also big, muscular, hairy men. It's just a big thing.
Big, buff men.
Yeah.
I don't know about buff, but it was interesting.
No, we'll go with buff. Yeah, we'll go with buff. Sure. Yeah.
I'm talking about Godzilla Mendoza. He's a YouTuber I respect.
Might have to check him out. Can't say I've heard of him too much.
He's one of the only comic book YouTubers with a funny personality.
A brain.
Not like funny in the sense that they're trying to be funny. It's like funny in the sense that if you're into comics like Marvel and DC, you'll understand some of the more obscure jokes, and also his
that's the best kind
sort
of funny.
cynical personality. Like that's what makes him funny. It's like,
oh yeah,
that personality, and also that abstraction. That, like, if you're already a fan of like comics, you'll enjoy Godzilla Mendoza definitely. And also, if like you're not necessarily deep into comics like I am, you'll enjoy him.
Yeah, it could be entertaining. I feel like partially because something you mentioned is, it's kind of why I like comedy wise. I suppose I much prefer live stream stuff versus like stand up. I don't know, because I don't know, the natural sort of comedy that just kind of happens, situational comedy rather than planned skits. And like skits are fine, and like but not my bread and butter.
I guess to clarify with Godzilla Mendoza, he scripts his videos, and that like leads to some inside jokes that I don't want to explain here because like just watch his content. He's a good YouTuber.
Let's explain all of his jokes right now. That's what this whole
Jokes
episode is going to be.
Explained.
Yeah. Man. I'm empty. I don't know where to go with this now. Hey,
we recorded for like an hour.
Yeah, we recorded for like an hour. Any closing thoughts here?
Hang on.
Uh-oh.
I just had a swig.
Had a big old gulp.
This podcast and like the people that like I brought together over the years. Like it's been a fun ride. I'm like excited to see reality instead of like, and like if like social gatherings are allowed, hopefully meet some more people, like, at least before moving out. If not, then I guess like talking online is definitely going to be more scarce, but like also at the same time, like I guess more intimate, because like I've definitely held a lot of things back over these years talking online. Like that's gonna change. I'm not even gonna be Tyc-Loud anymore. It's gonna be a different name for me.
Yeah. But hey, even beyond blockchain, want to mention just thank you, generally, for doing blockchain with me like this, helping me with this, and just general helping me find friends.
You're welcome. And like I thank you for like actually having the time to do a podcast, because I've like almost started a podcast multiple times, but like people on the other end weren't.
Yeah.
I guess you could say as invested.
Yeah, I get that.
Right? It was a fun ride, not gonna lie.
23 episodes strong, huh?
And more to come. Like if it's just going to be you and a guest, I'll definitely come back. Like the summer. Like maybe a little cameo for like a 1-year anniversary. Because like, fuck, when did we start this podcast? Like June or July?
7 months ago. Which was May, actually.
May, yeah.
Really, May? Oh my god, that long?
It's like a few months away.
We'll see.
God, it's almost March.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I completely forgot what day it was yesterday. Fucking New Year's Eve, and I'm like, fuck. What day is it? Is it the 27th? No, it's the fucking 31st. It's the end of the year. I'm gonna do things for myself, because I've not done that in a long time.
Yeah. Well, wish you the best, of course, and genuinely from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And thank you, the audience, for listening. This has been the Black.
Bye-bye!
See ya! And,
Markiplier!
Yeah. Oh.